times. It's your boy Audiomatron here. Today, what I'm going to do is something that I've wanted to do since I started this channel. This is the whole reason I started this channel. I wanted to do deep dives into the creative process. I try to apply that when I'm creating drum parts for my band, Axiom of Maria. So today, we're going to go through our song, Revolution. It's the first song I ever recorded with the band. It's not necessarily the first one I ever wrote with them, but when we started recording the first album that I was on, this is the first one we did, and it was actually one that I'd never heard prior to being in the studio. Steven just pulled it out and said, hey, I've always wanted to see what we could do with this one. See what you got. And probably like, I don't know, 2 takes. I had it. I kind of listened to it once or twice and then just kind of came up with this drum part on the fly, and it's turned out to be one of my favorites. I think it really highlights, what I'm able to do constructing drum parts. So what we'll do is I'll show you a performance of the whole song first, and then we'll go through the different parts and just kind of highlight some of the little punctuations and fills and things that I do to kind of help drive the song along. Right, so that was Revolution. In the intro of the song, it starts off with the guitar playing this. Pardon my singing. Anyways, and what I do is I echo that on the ride cymbal, so it's something like this. So basically, what I'm doing there is I'm echoing what the guitar player is doing there, what Steven's doing. What comes next is what I call like kind of an epic tom intro. Just something about the way when the distortion kicked in, something in a way that I felt that needed to go. I felt this like big tom intro. All right, so that goes like this. Okay, so then after the intro, we get into the meat of the song. Now, there's some things overall that I like to do throughout this song and all of our songs to kind of like either drive something a little harder or kind of pull it back in terms of intensity. A lot of times I'll use the hi-hat or the ride cymbal to do that. So like a lot of times during verses, I'll go with like closed hi-hat and then a slightly open hi-hat if it's a heavier, more intense feel. Well, so actually during this song, the guitar is kind of wide open in spots during the verse, which is unusual. It kind of different for us actually. Most of our songs is kind of the other way around. I use the open hi-hat feel to kind of match that intensity. And then if you'll notice after the verse, there's kind of a more like chilled out part where the guitar's doing more this like kind of lead thing. It's not the chorus yet. It's almost like a little interlude between the first two verses. And on that part, I go with closed hi-hat. And what I do during that part is I will open the hi-hat up and then bring it back down to kind of like build intensity and then pull us back. And then you'll notice in a lot of my playing towards the end of verses and stuff, I'll like start to open the hi-hat to kind of build the intensity to get us into the chorus or whatever. I'll kind of demonstrate that for you. So you see there, I just kind of would bring the hi-hat up and then pull it back down to kind of get us intense and then pull us back, right? I actually don't know if I did that on the recording, but I do it every time I play it live because that's what it feels like needs to happen. But the lead up to like the end of the verses, I do it on almost every song. I'll like build it up and then get us there, right? During the verses of the song, like I said, the guitar's wide open, so I'm going with open hi-hat. And he's doing this, got to got. Or yeah, and so I like to punctuate that on the cymbals by doing this. And then there's the second part of that phrase, or the second phrase that he does during the verses. He's going da 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 da. So I punctuate that with the China during the first verse. So all the way through, like the whole, like I don't know, you call the phrase or two there. It's like this. And that China and this China really lends itself to that. It's the Wuhan 18-inch line China, and it lends itself really well to that punctuation. Da 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 da. I even do it on the second verse too. All right. And then let's talk about fills. A lot of times, I'll use my longer fills to transition between verse and chorus. And actually, like halfway through the first verse, there's a fill that's kind of long that would make you think the verse is about to be over, but it's not, but it works. I actually was able to make it work here. It doesn't sound bad at all. So I'll actually play through um, the first half of the first verse to like kind of show you that fill. But yeah, that's the whole first verse. The second verse, I do something a little bit different just to differentiate. So I'll demonstrate the second verse to you now. So see, mostly it was the same, but I instead of whatever I did during the first verse, like after the first phrase, I did that kind of tom snare drum double stop, and then I still kept that China punctuation for that one guitar part, and then at the end, I really didn't do a grandiose fill. I just kind of like kept it simple. All right. Now let's talk about the choruses. So the choruses to the song are roughly the same. I just differentiate the fillers. A highlight of the chorus, which actually another musician that opened for us one time when we played over in Hattiesburg, pointed it out that he really liked on that song. And it's something that is carried through as kind of a thread that runs through all of our music. I do these like quick switches between these two crash cymbals. So I'll just demonstrate kind of like one of the choruses and what that looks like. I never know what Steven has in mind for vocals when I'm doing these things. But he actually like went with what I did on he actually went with what I did on the crash cymbals. So it's like, so let's go and tear down all these walls and break apart the machines that built them all. You know, like he said the words like when I did the cymbals, so it came out sounding really cool. If I happen to know the words, like some of the band's older songs, when I joined, they let me rework the drum parts. They told me I could do whatever I wanted with them. So I actually will punctuate vocal things. And sometimes I have to be careful to like back off of that a little bit because it becomes too much and I'll get told such. Anyway, so after that first chorus, we get into a bridge. Most of our songs are formulaic, you know, intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, out. So structure of this one's maybe a little bit different, but there is a bridge, and I felt like we needed to kind of pull the rug out from under everything because the guitar goes back to what they were doing at the beginning. And I felt like I needed to like be very sparse and then like kind of build it up with these like little fills with no beats in between until it builds up until we go back into the main riff of the song again before we then get into the last chorus and the outro. So I'll show you that little like drum solo part that goes in the bridge. All right, check it out. and that's how that goes. Just I came up with that shit on the spot, and then later I remember like having to practice it. I'm like, wait, what did I do there? Because I don't always do the same fills every time in songs. You know, sometimes I'm making the shit up on the spot, like every time we play it. This is one of the songs where I keep the fills kind of consistent, and that one particularly, that's one of those ones that are kind of like anchor points or like key pieces that I feel like I need to remember and play the same every time. So I practiced that one, and now I can pull it off every time. Sometimes I hear stuff, I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? That being one of them. All right. And then we get to the last chorus. The last chorus, I did something different since we were kind of like writing the song out to the end. I wanted to ramp up the intensity and like ramp up the punctuations a little bit more. And I did this China thing, and I'll demonstrate that for you now. So yeah, I did, instead of doing just like the little crash cymbal punctuations, I did this China thing where I'm like, I didn't think much of it when I did it in the studio. I think me and Steven were kind of stoked with it when we listened to it afterwards. And then the song kind of rides out where Steven's going, wake up your mind, join in the resistance, like several times. There's nothing really particularly interesting about the drum part there. But then at the end, the way I choose to end it, I hear the guitar go, ba-da-da-da-da-da. So that's what I do. So I'll kind of do a piece of the outro and then show you how that ends. With a simple choke at the end to kind of add some finality to the song, because everything else stops, so I need to stop and I need to shut everything the hell up. So anyways, that's kind of the things maybe that they don't necessarily go through my mind like on an intellectual level, but like intuitively I like to kind of feel out and give the song what it needs in that way. Sometimes I can be a little extra, and I'll have to be told like, hey, maybe that's too much, but not on this one, man. I'm really proud of that drum part. So anyways, if you've made it to this point, this is the end. Thanks so much for watching. If there's any kind of content you want to see here, I'm going to be doing more of this stuff because this is the kind of stuff that's interesting to me. But if there's anything else that you want to see, just let me know in the comments. Or if you have any comments about what you just saw, let me know, and we'll talk about it. And you know, if there's something you think that could be helpful, I'll make it. Anyways, till next time. See ya.